I think it's also about having that understanding, and like I think, like you said, trust that those lattes aren't going to turn into, you know, red wine, and that red wine ain't going to turn into, do you know what I mean?
Roses.
Hotel,
Roses.
you know what I'm saying? Hotel, the double tree, do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, another scenario that's quite popular, right? Is the phrase is the work wife or the work hubby.
Oh yeah, what is this about?
And I guess you guys are all from like a acting or
I've put in working in 9 to 5
environment, yeah. But
been
say
in-
for example,
been in the office.
We've been in
yeah.
office settings, yeah.
Now,
There's no way on God's green earth, man.
let him finish, man.
Well, I know
I know what's coming, bro.
no way.
That's the answer.
My question was going to be how comfortable are you with your partner having a close friend at work who is like from the opposite sex?
Lee, if we could insert the audio from that part into this part here, there's no way on God's green earth.
I just don't understand this work husband, work wife stuff. But maybe I've never worked long enough in one area where it's like, I don't know, all right, Julie, here's a cup of tea. I got some snacks for you. Like, what? Like, when does this happen? I don't understand that.
I'm just saying there's no need. It's not, again, it's not it's not nothing that
Look, just for clarification, my question is not are you okay with your partner having a work husband or a work wife? Right. That's not what my question
What
is.
is your question?
Right. My question is, are you okay with them having a close friend who is from the opposite sex at work? So they generally don't tend to meet up outside of work, but at work, them two are like really close.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with that.
cool.
Because that real closeness is generally what tends to then be described as work wife, work husband.
It's a description.
You know what I'm saying?
I thought you were asking me,
So-
am I cool with the description of it?
No,
I don't-
like the term, nobody's going to be comfortable with that,
Yeah.
right? But in terms of the actual behaviours, that happens on a regular
It
basis.
does happen on
Yeah.
a regular.
Do you get what I'm saying? It happens like very frequently, and that's where that term kind of comes from.
Yeah.
Like,
But then again, you've got to talk about with your partner the boundary. Say, look, you know, fair enough, you've got a close male colleague, and you two go lunch. But I'm just saying, just be wary that it is you two going on lunch together.
Sound like a teacher.
Yeah. I'm just
Make sure.
I'm just saying no, because like this conversation, I'm not gonna have this conversation all the time. Every time she does something which could jeopardize our marriage, I'm like, right, let's have a sit down. No, it's not a case of that. It's just the fact that, you know, you need to have these boundaries. You know, you can have male friends, but just remember there are certain lines you just don't cross. And then, like, for example, if you're gonna go out, like say, look, I can't meet you for lunch, but let's go out after dinner. I mean, let's go out like a bit later. I've got a nice restaurant, this and the other. I've picked out for you and me. Let's dress up nicely, and then the hug is too long. You know what I mean? And that's where now we've got a problem. But if they're like, look, let's have lunch. We're gonna go, you know, just over to that empty desk. Let's just eat our sandwiches.
But
Yeah.
my problem is in this new age, everything is classified as, do you know what I mean, like jealousy, manipulation, control. I'm just like, look, if you're not going too far across the line, like it's okay to have problems with certain things in it and be able to discuss that with your partner.
Yeah.
The way that everything is, you know, like, no, you know, you should be able to free, liberate, do what you want. Like, you know what I mean, you're not the boss of me. Like, for me, I don't know. Part of me is from the old school, innit? But I'm not about trying to control your partner or change your partner or this and that. Like, you're at a place now where if something bugs you, you should be able to voice it. Your love for me should then...
Well, I guess before something...
And vice versa.
Before, like, because I think what is healthy that's starting to be talked about these days, right, is before something bugs you, like, I ask, like, why does it bug you, innit? Because I think there's a lot of unhealthy messaging that we get in it in terms of, like, oh, this should be a problem. And that's why it's funny because people have an issue with their partner having a work wife / work husband, but they don't have an issue with the actual process of having a work wife, work husband. So yeah, you can have close friends at work as long as they're not a work wife or work husband, but they're the same.
I'm just saying it's unnecessary to label it as such
I
because
think
it
it's
has
very-
certain
I think
connotations.
it does have certain connotations,
There's that unspoken kind of thing between you. So again, you're talking about closeness between colleagues. Then we've got to talk, how close are we talking? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to get you to describe it now, but you know, again, there are still boundaries with that.
So say for example, he comes in, right? He comes into work.
So I was about to ask you when
Your
it comes in
wife's
where, man.
Just bops into
What
your
time?
yard.
What time?
Says where's dinner. No, he comes into work, and he's got 2 coffees. He knows that she likes a latte.
It's
And
inevitable,
he's
man.
like,
It's
bang,
inevitable.
here's a latte,
you see,
and he's got his latte. Hasn't asked anybody else in the office.
I'd
Is
never
there an
know,
issue?
innit?
Pardon?
I would never know. Ignorance is bliss.
But wouldn't you?
So
Wouldn't
that-
you?
I hear what you're
See
saying.
what I'm saying?
I hear what you're
It's
saying.
those kind of little details.
I wouldn't even want to know that.
that where jealousy can
yeah,
creep
yeah,
in.
I hear
Do you see
that.
what I'm saying? Because all right, say for example, you would never know, but say for example, you're made aware. So say for example, she says, "Oh, Philip came into the office today and bought me a latte," and then you're like, "Oh, right, what did he buy?" Blah blah, nothing. Like,
But
what
that
do
kind
you-
of dialogue with
I
that,
wouldn't-
with that kind
yeah.
of dialogue with the work person can't always, it won't always be shared with you or her. Do you know what I mean? You won't equally share the same things. I think it's also about having that understanding and like I think like you said, trust that those lattes aren't gonna turn into red wine, and that red wine ain't gonna turn into. Do you know what I mean?
Roses.
Hotel.
Roses,
You know what I'm saying?
roses.
Hotel. The double tree. Do you know what I mean? Like, so-
Really,
The double
sorry, go on.
tree.
yeah. So I think I also think it's that whole thing about what you perception and also kind of the imagination can run wild, like in terms of like it's just a latte. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
nothing more than that.
It's the little micromanaging. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't really be on it. Hold on, before you jump into your thing.
Are we gonna do this?
Let's do this. Well, yeah, go on, Si. What are you gonna say?
I just think that the whole term work wife, work husband, that word is thrown around so easily because you got to earn that, man. Wait, I'm taking
You got to earn what?
You got to earn work wife status.
No, the title, isn't it? Am I goalkeeper?
I said I got my.
You got,
I got my
I
wife
have to earn it.
But you need to earn work wife status.
But like, you know what I'm saying? It's just hold on. Let me just bang this free kick. I mean, this penalty.
I even said it's not even lattes I like. You gotta come with that Ferrero Rocher.
Because no, think about this. Like, let me just paint this scenario, right? Say for example,
Sorry?
No, man, game of talking, man. It's tough for
Can't
me,
multitask.
The pressure.
I can't multitask, man. Wait, I'm taking the kick in. Like, when you're having a relationship at work with someone, right, it's always good, yeah? Unless it's work related, then it can be quite challenging. At home, it's good and bad. What happens if on a bad day, you and your partner have a really bad argument on the way out from work? And then suddenly, your work wife or work husband has a nice latte, and suddenly, things between your work wife or work husband is really good, but at home, it's not. And this is where it becomes very dangerous when you label someone.
But truth be told, you can't manage this. Like, so these things that you would worry about in this context, it's just it's unnecessary stress.
It's not necessarily that you know, right? It's just is there an issue with it happening? Do you see what I'm saying? It's not necessarily. It's not whether or not you know is irrelevant. Is it if your partner's friend at work was to start them bringing them lattes, or after when work is closing, like go up to their desk and say, let me wash this for you, or let me do this, right? Is there an issue with that happening, regardless of whether you know or not? Should your partner be saying, thanks, but don't buy me a latte? Thanks, but don't get me a latte tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I
I think
No, see, that's the level of that's jealousy. Do you get what I'm saying?
And that's control. then, because
Yeah, I think that is
yeah.
control.
No, I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
saying.
that
I'm
is
not
control.
saying. I'm not saying. I'm not saying
Sorry,
to
folks,
tell.
can we witness what's happening right now?
You won that, yeah.
You won.
So what's gonna happen? Are we passing this on?
I'm just saying it's my first
Yeah,
loss.
I haven't gone yet.
I'm just making it very clear,
I
it's my
mean,
first loss.
But
Is
what
this
I'm
with the
saying is,
flavour on?
yeah, it is.
I'm not saying that
Jesus.
you should say to your partner, tell him not to buy you a latte. What I'm saying is, in order to avoid the confusion, or in order to avoid like those scenarios that you say, you've now had an argument, she goes into work and here he turns up
It's
with
a
a
latte
latte.
like, hey,
and-
baby.
Do you know what I'm saying? Here's that shoulder.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Like, should your wife at the very beginning be saying, oh no, like it's cool, don't buy
Listen,
it.
I don't know. Go on.
Because at the beginning a latte is a latte, but the moment you're having problems and then the latte's like, oh,
The latte
this
turns
guy-
to rosé.
Yeah, no, but not even. The guy was there with the latte, and now I'm having problems. Now he's my shoulder to cry on.
Right.
And
That
then
can
it's
happen
like,
anywhere.
yeah, of course
Do
you
you know
can.
what I'm saying?
You
So,
can't.
like,
That's what I mean. Like,
And that's what I'm saying. That whole worrying about. I can't
Problems
tell her what
like
she
that
should do.
might arise anyway.
Do you get what I'm saying?
But
Whether
what
it's-
I'm saying
That's
is,
where that trust comes in.
would you get jealous of that person if you knew that was happening? Would jealousy creep in? Would you start to ask, oh, why is he buying her lattes in the morning?
I think I'd feel uncomfortable with him discussing our issues with that person and having a nice rosy, I don't know, glass, or even if it's a coffee. I don't like you discussing our problems with that person.
Keep my name out your mouth.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it.
I just think in terms of like when you're conversing with the opposite sex, I tend to keep things very limited. Nothing to do with my wife's insecurities. Nothing to do with that. It's just to do with boundaries. You know,
Yeah.
like for me at work, because before lockdown, we spent all of our time at work. Well, I mean, I still do the 9 to 5, so I spent all my time with people that I work in my team with, and less time at home. So, and there are actually people in my team which we're all good friends, but there has to be boundaries that we set. And then there was this talk about, you know, maybe Simon, you've got like a work where someone you're really close with, and I just had to kind of kill that noise real quick.
In the bud.
Yeah,
Because
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because even
Because that's
talk of
my
it.
wife. Like we've been together for over 20 years. I'm not just going to give it to somebody else who I'm just good friends with. This is what I'm saying, not to earn it, but like my wife, just like I've earned my title as a husband, she's earned it because we've been together for.
But even the label itself, it puts ideas like subliminally, subconsciously.
Yeah.
It just puts something out there.
Plants those
Yeah.
seeds.
But what I'm gonna